What if everything you have been searching for your entire life was never missing at all? What if peace, purpose, and meaning were not waiting somewhere in the future, but were already present in this very second? These questions form the emotional and philosophical foundation of You Are This Moment, an award-winning spiritual documentary that is quickly becoming one of the most talked about films in the global wellness and consciousness space. At a time when modern life feels increasingly fast, noisy, and overwhelming, the release of You Are This Moment feels not accidental, but necessary. The documentary arrives in a world dominated by constant notifications, endless scrolling, rising anxiety levels, and a growing sense of inner emptiness. Despite technological advancement and material comfort, millions of people report feeling disconnected from themselves and from life itself. This film directly addresses that silent crisis, offering a perspective that challenges the way people have been taught to think, strive, and live. Since its premiere, You Are This Moment has captured international attention, earning multiple awards across independent film festivals and spiritual cinema platforms. Critics describe it as a rare blend of simplicity and depth, a film that does not rely on dramatic storytelling or shock value, but instead uses stillness, honesty, and clarity as its greatest strengths. Audiences from different cultures and backgrounds report similar reactions: a sense of calm, emotional release, and a sudden realization that life has been happening all along, unnoticed. The central idea presented in the documentary is both radical and timeless. Human suffering, it suggests, is not caused by circumstances themselves, but by the mind's constant movement away from the present moment. By reliving past mistakes or projecting fears into the future, people unknowingly disconnect from the only place where life actually exists. The film frames this insight not as philosophy alone, but as a lived truth that can be felt immediately by anyone willing to pause and pay attention. What makes You Are This Moment stand out in the crowded field of motivational and spiritual content is its refusal to promise instant transformation or external success. Instead, it gently exposes how the endless pursuit of more has kept people from recognizing what is already here. The documentary does not tell viewers to escape the world, change their identity, or adopt a new belief system. It simply invites them to notice the present experience as it is, without judgment or resistance. Early audience responses suggest that this approach resonates deeply. Many viewers describe watching the film as a turning point, not because it gave them new information, but because it helped them see what they had been overlooking. Some report a shift in how they handle stress, relationships, and daily challenges. Others say the film helped them slow down for the first time in years, allowing them to experience moments of quiet awareness that felt unfamiliar yet deeply natural. Industry analysts note that the documentary's success reflects a broader cultural shift. As traditional markers of success fail to deliver fulfillment, people are increasingly turning inward, searching for meaning beyond productivity and achievement. You Are This Moment taps directly into this collective longing, offering a message that feels both ancient and urgently modern. Its growing popularity signals that audiences are ready for content that prioritizes inner truth over external performance. As conversations around mental health, burnout, and emotional well-being continue to dominate global discourse, the film positions itself as more than entertainment. It functions as a mirror, reflecting back a simple but unsettling truth: life is not happening later, after goals are achieved or problems are solved. Life is happening now, in the breath, the silence, and the awareness. Reading these words. By the end of its opening message, You Are This Moment makes one thing unmistakably clear. The peace people chase through success, relationships, and recognition cannot be found outside themselves or outside the present moment. It has always been available, hidden in plain sight. The documentary does not claim to give viewers something new. Instead, it reminds them of something they have always been. At the core of You Are This Moment lies a carefully constructed exploration of human awareness, presented in a way that feels intimate, grounded, and deeply relatable. Rather than following a traditional documentary format driven by fast pacing or dramatic narration, the film unfolds slowly, allowing space for reflection. This deliberate rhythm is one of its defining strengths, encouraging viewers to move out of passive consumption and into active presence as the message develops. The documentary brings together spiritual teachers, neuroscientists, psychologists, and ordinary individuals, not to debate ideas, but to point toward a shared human experience. Each voice adds a layer of understanding, yet none claim authority over the truth. Instead, the film repeatedly returns to a single observation. Most people live almost entirely inside their thoughts, rarely experiencing life as it is actually happening. Through calm explanations and real-life examples, the film illustrates how the mind's constant commentary creates distance from reality, turning simple moments into sources of stress, fear, or dissatisfaction. One of the film's most striking elements is its focus on direct experience rather than abstract belief. Viewers are not asked to accept a philosophy or adopt a new spiritual identity. Instead, they are guided to notice what is already present: breathing, sensations, silence, and awareness itself. The documentary explains how awareness is often mistaken for thought, when in reality it exists before thought arises. This distinction, presented with clarity and patience, becomes a key turning point for many viewers as they begin to recognize the space between themselves and their mental activity. Personal stories play a central role in grounding the film's message. Individuals from different walks of life share how constant thinking kept them trapped in cycles of anxiety, regret, or emotional numbness. These accounts are not dramatized; they are quiet, honest reflections that mirror the internal struggles of countless viewers. By highlighting these experiences, the documentary shows that suffering is not a personal failure, but a universal pattern rooted in unconscious identification with the mind. Visually, This Moment reinforces its message through simplicity. Natural landscapes, unhurried camera movements, and moments of stillness replace the overstimulation common in modern media. The visuals do not attempt to impress; they serve as reminders of presence. Long pauses and ambient sound invite the audience to slow down, making the act of watching the film itself an exercise in mindfulness. Many viewers report becoming aware of their own breathing and posture during these moments, an effect rarely achieved in conventional documentaries. The film also addresses common misconceptions about spirituality and presence. It clarifies that living in the moment does not mean withdrawing from responsibility or ignoring real-world challenges. Instead, it suggests that clarity and effective action arise more naturally when the mind is not clouded by unnecessary mental noise. By presenting presence as a practical state, rather than a mystical concept, the documentary bridges the gap between spiritual insight and everyday life. Another key theme explored is the illusion of identity. The film gently questions the idea that people are defined by their past experiences, roles, or labels. Through guided explanations, it shows how identity is largely constructed by memory and expectation, both of which exist only as thoughts in the present. Recognizing this, the documentary suggests, can bring a profound sense of freedom, not by destroying the ego, but by seeing it clearly. As the documentary progresses, viewers often find themselves less focused on understanding the message intellectually and more engaged in feeling it. The film does not rush toward conclusions; it allows insights to emerge naturally. This experiential approach is what many audiences describe as transformative. Rather than leaving with a list of instructions, viewers leave with a shift in perception, noticing moments of stillness and awareness that were previously overlooked. By the end of its exploration, This Moment has quietly accomplished something rare. It does not motivate viewers to become better versions of themselves. Instead, it invites them to recognize the completeness of what already is. In doing so, the documentary turns the act of watching into a mirror, reflecting back the simple truth that awareness itself is the constant background of every experience, waiting to be noticed. As This Moment continues its global journey, its impact is becoming increasingly visible across cultures, age groups, and belief systems. What began as a quiet spiritual documentary has evolved into a shared experience for viewers seeking relief from the pressure and fragmentation of modern life. Film festival screenings, online discussions, and word-of-mouth recommendations have transformed the documentary into more than a cinematic work. It has become a point of reflection for a growing global audience. Audience responses consistently highlight a similar theme. The film does not overwhelm with information, yet it leaves a lasting impression. Viewers often describe a sense of stillness that lingers long after the credits roll. Many report that the documentary changed not what they think, but how they relate to their thoughts. This subtle but powerful shift is frequently described as life-changing, not because circumstances suddenly improve, but because the internal struggle against life begins to soften. Mental health professionals and wellness advocates have also taken note of the film's influence. In discussions and reviews, Experts point out that you are this moment aligns closely with modern psychological understanding of mindfulness, emotional regulation, and stress reduction. Without using clinical language, the documentary communicates ideas that are increasingly supported by neuroscience, that constant mental rumination fuels anxiety, and that present moment awareness can restore balance and clarity. This alignment between ancient wisdom and modern science has helped the film gain credibility beyond spiritual circles. On social media platforms, viewers share personal reflections inspired by the documentary. Short clips, quotes, and personal testimonials circulate widely, often accompanied by stories of burnout, grief, or emotional exhaustion. Many explain that the film arrived at a moment when they felt lost or overwhelmed, offering not answers, but space. This collective response suggests that the documentary's success is not driven by marketing, but by resonance. People recognize themselves in its message. Critics praise the film for resisting the temptation to turn spirituality into performance or spectacle. In an era where self-improvement content often emphasizes constant growth and optimization, You Are This Moment takes a radically different stance. It suggests that peace does not come from fixing oneself, but from seeing clearly. This message, while simple, challenges deeply ingrained cultural beliefs about success, productivity, and self-worth. The film's quiet confidence in this truth is what many reviewers describe as its greatest strength. The documentary's international awards reflect this broad appeal. Judges have noted its ability to communicate a universal message without relying on cultural or religious framing. By focusing on shared human experience rather than doctrine, the film transcends borders and belief systems. It speaks to something fundamental: the longing to feel alive, grounded, and at ease within oneself. Perhaps the most significant impact of You Are This Moment is how it changes the viewer's relationship with time. Many report noticing how often they rush through moments, waiting for something else to happen. After watching the film, simple experiences, walking, listening, breathing, take on new depth. This shift does not require retreating from daily life. Instead, it enhances engagement with it. Ordinary moments become meaningful not because they change, but because attention returns to them. As the documentary continues to reach new audiences through streaming platforms and community screenings, its message remains consistent and undiluted. It does not position itself as a solution to all problems, nor does it claim to eliminate suffering. Instead, it offers a different relationship to experience itself, one rooted in acceptance rather than resistance. This approach resonates deeply in a world where many feel exhausted by the constant effort to control and improve every aspect of life. In its final impression, You Are This Moment leaves viewers with a quiet realization rather than a dramatic conclusion. The film suggests that life does not begin after healing is complete, goals are achieved, or fears are resolved. Life is already happening, in the awareness that observes each thought, feeling, and sensation. By bringing attention back to this simple truth, the documentary offers something rare: not a promise of a better future, but an invitation to fully inhabit the present. In doing so, You Are This Moment affirms its central message with clarity and grace. You are not waiting for life to start. You are not separate from the experience unfolding now. You are not becoming the moment. You are this moment.